Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday, Jasmine. Hope you had a great weekend.
Definitely nice and chill, lots of thunderstorms.
Okay, good, good. Today, this is your show. We're talking about what you want to talk about today. Let's go with, we chatted about this on the last podcast at the end about what people can do now that they have been laid off, less hours, so forth and so on. And this is what you want to talk about, so let's go with it. So, let's
Yeah,
start.
I really want to talk about how to make money in this economy. This is my second, I've been through, I always say, two and a half downturns, and I've made money in all of them. I think what happens is a lot of people get frozen. I have to make the right move. They get afraid to make any move, and they end up not making any money because of that. But what I want to tell people is that now is the time to really be starting a business and moving forward for 1,000 reasons. And is that only more and more people are going to be laid off. Well, it's only going to, the dominoes
Mm-hmm.
are going to keep falling. The sooner you start, the better off you will be. And the second piece of that is you have to stay flexible. You have to stay agile in a way you don't. Like during an upswing in the economy, you're going to want to stay the course. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to don't switch too fast, really stay on the same path. This is a little different. We want you to take the topic that you have, the thing that you sell, and we want you to be able to stay flexible with how you are delivering it and how you are selling it. And that's just really key to being successful.
Okay. Now, what do you think? How can a person who was fired on Friday that woke up this morning and figure out what should I start to do? What would be your suggestion for them to start today at something?
It depends, of course, by industry of what you did.
Hmm.
But often, if you're in some kind of corporate structure, which a lot of the layoffs are coming from more corporate structures, or even
Hmm.
from the federal government, which has a similar idea to you moving up the ladder, very specific steps. I always tell people to start with consulting, not as building out a whole thing, not as building out a whole whatever. You've got contacts that are going to know that you are an expert in what you do. It is easy to start getting a couple of hours here or there. And you just start, what I would do is I would create just a 3-page website that is your about, your introduction, your contact form, so that you have an online presence. Get your business license, it's like $30 with your
Hmm.
state, and then start just posting online,
Hmm.
strategically posting online. I don't want you to just post, no throwing random shit at the wall, but strategically start posting and then DMing your contacts. Hey, I know you guys laid off the entire marketing team. Do you need someone to consult while you rearrange the departments? Do you need someone to finish that one project? Do you need somebody for just 3 hours a week, 10 hours a week? You get a couple of those that will float you as you continue to build your business and your presence online.
That has to be brilliant. That's a brilliant thing you just said. And I'm going to take that and go up a little further
Yeah.
because you're right. You worked, let's say you worked in the logistics for the federal government and you got fired for whatever reason. You can immediately come out on Monday morning and become the logistic expert for East Asia overnight. And let's take it a little further. Let's go back to more of the digital product component. You can create an ebook immediately as a lead magnet to potentially get more clients. I think
Absolutely.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's something that everyone who got fired today, should open up a shingle the next day and say, "I'm open for my information, my head. I'll give to you for $1 for money."
Yeah. I mean, if you come from, there's fractional marketing, there's all sorts of positions you could do where you could end up, because these companies are laying off so many people because they have to. And they're still, in the next couple of weeks, they're gonna be like, okay, but we still have to get our ad campaign out for the weekend. We
Hmm.
still have to restructure this management internal engineering
Right.
project. I still need one engineering dude that really
Hmm.
understood, or girl that understood what we were doing. And instead of training somebody new, you're able to step in and be like, hey, I know I worked for you guys before. You laid me off. No hard feelings. Totally get it. Here is what I'm going to suggest. This is what hired me for 3 hours a week, 5 hours a week for the next 6 months, and we will get it up and running. It will still save you all the money of having laid everybody off. So,
100%.
yeah, that's
No,
what I
that's a
would
great idea. It's a great idea. So the first step someone should do is to immediately consult on what they were doing before. It's a great idea. So let's say that's been done and they're getting some clients. What's the next step you think to grow and scale a little bit?
So the next thing I would do is, and we talk about this a lot, is own your own damn platform. I don't care if it's a podcast, an online course, I don't care if you're doing in-person events at all of your Chamber of Commerce
Hmm.
meetings. Do something where you are owning a space and really positioning yourself as the expert. What a lot of people do when they start their own business or their own side hustle is they wait for permission to be visible. They wait for permission to be able to show up in spaces. Make your own damn space. Everybody else will be waiting for permission, hoping to get as a guest on a podcast,
Hmm.
trying to figure out how to go to these Facebook groups that are looking for a guest, or these
Hmm.
websites $2 a month to be a guest. Just start your own thing. Get yourself out there and don't wait for anybody to tell you that you can or cannot. And that's one of the reasons I love social media, because you can start showing up and making content and being real and connecting with people without waiting for anybody's permission to do.
Correct.
That's the next thing I would do, is make sure that you create that space for yourself.
And what's great about technology and where we are today is that in 24 hours, you're open for business.
Yeah.
You have a potential $100,000 a year business can open up in 5 minutes, and start doing content around it immediately. Start sharing. You don't even have to do it yourself. Start sharing content on what you're doing and saying, hey, this is what's happening in the world. I can help you with this. And it's cussing down on LinkedIn a lot. There's a lot of people sharing content from newspaper articles and saying, I can help you with this. So that's a great way to start. And on the point of owning your own media, basically your own newsletter, podcast, that's critical because those are yours and those are assets that you could sell. Because if you start a newsletter or an email, whatever you want to call it, and you have enough people on it that are opening up your emails, that's value to somebody. You obviously as well, but value.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely valuable. And there's a whole bunch of subscription-based. Substack is really taking off right now, for
It really
example.
is.
It really is. But you can take what's on Substack and republish it as an article on LinkedIn. That shit's searchable by Google. That stuff
Hmm.
will come up on searches on LinkedIn. I know somebody who was thinking about a newsletter and she just made the newsletter exist. She just did one published. She's 2 weeks later, she had 500 subscribers. And so she called me. She said, I need more articles. I really hadn't thought this through. And so that's why she hired me. So that's 500 people who are paying attention to her when she didn't even know they were paying attention to her, because she had knowledge and expertise in a specific subject, right? So owning your own platform is, I just think, really key.
And I was thinking this weekend a little bit about the terms people are using currently to discuss what's happening on social media. They call this your content creator, right? That's the term everyone uses. Oh, it's not a real job. It's not a real job. Excuse me. Being a content creator is so much a real job. And the problem is people hear it and they think, oh, you make these skits on YouTube. But in actuality, if you look at it and think about it for 2 seconds, you're actually a media company. You're a one person media company that is speaking, people are listening, and that's what you are. You're a mini ABC, you're a mini whatever. If you're
Hmm.
doing a comedy, you're a small Comedy Central. If you're doing business stuff, you're a mini Bloomberg. So it really is, I think, the best way to launch and become something quickly is to open up your own quote unquote media company. Don't call it a content creator anymore. Say, I'm Bobby Harris. I launched a media company. We have a YouTube channel. We have this, that, and the other. Oh, really? That's fantastic.
Yeah, and when you do that, I think one of the things that people need to remember is you want to be very specific in the problem you solve. If you're new to this, a lot of people will say, okay, I'm going to test a bunch of subjects. Okay, do that for a hot minute, but really stick with your expertise. And instead of trying to figure out niching down, I hate that word, because it's like niching down on your audience, really niche down on the problem that you solve.
Hmm.
People will self-identify if that's the problem for them, if they're your audience or not, and you
Correct.
actually end up with a larger audience and a larger demographic, but they all need that thing because you're solving that specific problem. So now you're a media company solving a specific problem. So no matter what platform you're on, you're
Yeah.
still speaking to that same problem.
And that's the beauty of it. And I really believe that people really should start to do more of this. And especially after you're laid off, fired, whatever you want to call it, just start.
Yeah.
Just start. And you don't have to go on with your face. Start with newsletters, start with articles, start with writing something on Medium or
Mhm.
Substack, and just post it to LinkedIn. The worst case scenario on LinkedIn, you start to get more followers, you may get a job from it. It's the worst case scenario. Oh, I
Right.
got another job, great. Or you can say, wow, this is clicking. I'm gonna continue and see what I can build out. That's the only way you will never be fired again.
Is to be your own boss.
You can go to sleep every single night and to know that you won't walk in Monday morning and be fired.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially if you own your own audience.
Yes. And you have your own loyal audience and you've built a community around who you are and what you
Hmm.
do.
You
Yeah.
can sell them anything. You can, not in a bad way, obviously, and you can help them become something what they want to be. And that's the beauty of the world right now. I've been in business myself for 20 plus years, and it was a lot harder when I started. There wasn't a way for me to research anything. I had to write every piece of information possible. Now you have ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. Now AI agents coming out will do all the work for you. So now you can do it in seconds. I don't want to talk about this online, but yesterday I had a problem. And my problem was I have a dog and I want another dog and I want to travel to the Caribbean and get a second house. How am I going to get my dog down to the Caribbean? I don't know.
Hmm.
There are services to get your dog from New York to Europe and around the country. Right now, there's services for it. They have their own planes. You pay X dollars for it. You can move your dog from LA to New York on a jet. There's not one for the Caribbean. It's not. I looked over and over again. So I called a friend of mine yesterday who's in the business of jets and planes and charters. I said, "Hey, Mark, what do you think about this idea?" He said, "Brilliant, because there's so many people moving to the Caribbean who are retiring with two, three dogs. And one thing's hampering them from moving down there is that they can't get their kids with them."
100%.
So we launched a business on Friday called Paradise Paws.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's been launched. The website's up right now
See, this is the kind of shit I need more of in my life.
because the fact is, I don't have to own a plane. You
No.
basically you're more of a marketing company. You get the people who want to move to the Caribbean, and you get the planes that are sitting there on the tarmac by from a charter company, and say, "I want to rent that plane for X dollar." And as long as you're making more than the X dollar, you're up. But more importantly, you're providing a service that I believe in. That you can say, "I bought a house in the Cayman Islands. I have money. I'm very well off, but I'm not private jet off.
Different level.
It's a different level. But I need to get my animals down there. I have two huge dogs. They won't even fit in a crate. Now you can hop on our plane and fly down to Cayman Islands with your three, four dogs."
That's very cool. And that's the kind of fast action we say once you have an idea, you need to jump.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a gap.
It's a
Why hasn't
gap.
anyone filled that gap
Yeah,
before
it's
is
a gap.
wild.
And the fact is, it's launched already, and I'm gonna create some articles on it on my off time, not during my work time, and
Yeah.
start to get press on it. And we're gonna start contacting developments that are in the Caribbean that can sell the service to their clients in hotels and everything else. So that's how fast things can happen. You can do it overnight and start something that has a scalable feature to it, and that's it. That's all you can do. I really hope the people that have been fired don't believe they're darn hopeless, especially ones who are older. The ones who are older, I believe, are feeling it harder. So let's say you're 50 plus and you're just got fired. The odds of you getting another job might be harder than someone who's in their 30s.
Much hard. It's not even a little bit. It's
Right.
extremely hard. I know somebody who was just laid off, 61 years old. That's going to be tough to find another job.
But yet you can start a business that's faceless and no one knows your age, and you start getting clients and start to sell stuff.
Or it's a business where it is your face because nobody gives a shit outside
Yeah.
of corporate.
No, exactly. So the fact is that those people have the experience, and more or less, hopefully, they have a little more money saved up, knock on wood, so
Yeah.
they can start immediately while they're looking for another job.
Yeah.
If the other job doesn't come, at least they had 8 months of launching their own business,
Mm-hmm.
and they're generating 5,000 bucks a month, pat cleanly,
Yeah.
and they'll actually also gain more self worth because I did this myself. I won't be fired. The only way from here is up.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to that's where I'm going to bring in the key thing of make sure that if that's what you're doing, that you are keeping your overhead low.
Oh,
You want to keep your overhead very low because I know a lot of people who go to launch a business. All websites apparently are $2,000, and then I had to get a CRM, and so that was another 500. Or before you know it, they've spent $15,000 launching a business that hasn't made a dime yet.
and I'll tell you how to prevent that from happening. Simply, don't have the 15,000. That doesn't exist. If you have it in your savings, that doesn't exist. That's your savings. That's your savings.
I don't
So
think it's, I appreciate you, but I don't think it's that simple because
it really is.
people, no, because what happens is people are coming into this world for the first time. They don't know what it should cost. And if
Yeah,
everybody around them is telling them it should cost 15,000, they think they can't be successful without it, which is why
yeah.
I'm bringing it up.
So I agree with you on that. But we need to teach them
That's my whole point here.
that it doesn't cost 15,000. You can legit right now, for example, you can get a template website off of like on Webflow that will look just like you spent $20,000 on a website.
Yeah.
That'll cost you $80. You may have to hire someone from Upwork to tweak it for you. That'll cost you $50. Now you're in for $250. We have a website and a landing page. It's a start. It's a start.
So one of my Elevate clients, she has a business where she's got little pieces of businesses that she can
Hmm.
help with. I'm having her actually put together an entire offer that's just business in a box. So it's business in a weekend. So you'll have your website, your first funnel, your first lead gen, your
Hmm.
CRM, you'll have all of it ready to go. You just put in your wording in your
That's
photos.
perfect. Yeah. That's all you have to do.
So
As long as it looks professional, is because the first thing you look at a site, and if it looks not professional, you may lose customers.
yeah.
But it's very simple to look professional. As long as the templates are relatively high end enough where, oh, I look professional. That's all you have to do. That way you look like you've been doing it for a hot minute.
Yeah, I do believe you need to have at least a landing page.
Oh yeah, of course.
No, I was just going to say because otherwise you don't look like a real business if you don't have at least a landing page.
Yeah. You
But
need
to be
yeah,
honest, I've seen people launch businesses without a website.
of course.
So,
You need all you but again, it costs you under $100 to get a www and a landing page.
yeah.
At least
But I think the reason that people end up at the 15,000 is because every single vendor they talk to tells them that's what they need to do.
yeah.
And so when every vendor is saying it, it's hard. And then you see all these other things that are like I think it's called Show It is a website building place. It's actually painful as shit to use, but they're really pretty website. And it's like $50, $100 for a month for a website. So you see those and you're like, but I don't have the time. I don't have the learn. I'm trying to learn everything about starting a business, and you start handing off anything techie, I think is what happens.
If you look at certain things like a website, at the end of the day, you only do it once
Yeah.
for 6 months. For 6 months, you don't have to touch it again.
Yeah.
And if you anyone listen to this podcast needs some help, please call me up. I'll help you find out a way to do it for nothing. Because
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 20 plus years, trying to do things for nothing. I've mastered it because I don't believe if you're going to spend $15,000, spend it in marketing.
That
So,
good. I just checked my Facebook while you're doing that. And my Udemy. I did a free Udemy course this weekend, and
mhm.
I've got 205 signups.
Really, that course is. I've heard we're discussing websites and such for companies. I have a friend of mine the other day asked me, "Do you think $50,000 is a lot to start to do a website?" I said, "Any company on earth other than Apple should be paying more than $5,000 to 10 max." And that's soup to nuts. That's everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know that if you're doing a custom website that needs extra security, it needs extra SEO, it needs to be like really tight, right? In a different way. 10,000. What happens is the $10,000 website person sees that it's a company that makes millions and immediately fluffs out their offer and say, no, it's going to cost all of this to do what you need. They could do it for 10,000. They don't want
Of
to. I
course,
get
can.
that. They're running their own business. But that's the reality. As far as the tech piece, that shit is so simple now. It's just not necessary.
No,
We're not hand coding every line of this
no,
website.
no,
We're not doing
no.
it.
You're not. No, and so basically, to our listeners again, do not pay a lot of money to start your business because you're going to probably change and pivot along the way anyway. So pay as little as you can, get going, and figure out what you really need. Would you agree
Well,
with
and I
that?
actually want to reframe that. It's not even that you're trying to, because I agree, I 100% agree with what you said, but I think the framing of it is you're starting something, and like you said, you're going to adjust it. So you need to keep some of those funds for those adjustments in the future,
Correct.
right? You can't
Exactly.
just spend it all at the beginning and then hope it works out before you've tested or tried anything.
No. And the fact is, money in your pocket is worth a lot more than money in someone else's pocket because you can do more things with the money in your pocket. You can market more. You can get some UGC people to help push your brand. You can hire this and that kind of person and not just give it to one designer who grabbed a template off of Webflow or Wix. Said, "Here you go for $5,000." You
Yes.
spent $4,000 more than you should have because you started a business. What even can you put in the website?
I designed websites for a while when I was starting out. It was a good way to, because you could do a quick project. It was a good way to
Hmm.
earn money while I was building for social media. And I know how they get so pricey because you spend so many hours on it until you get to a certain level of design that you almost have pre-made templates for your clients as they
Hmm.
come. So you speed up the process, but you keep the fees the same. And I get it. That's a great way to do business. I would definitely support if I was working with a website designer for that. But as a business that is starting out and has tested nothing, you need to just be wary of where you put your money and keep as much as you can. Especially again in an economy that is turning downward, cash solvent as possible. We talk about you don't want to be house poor, you also don't want to be website poor. Right. Website's just
Yeah.
one example. There's also all the other SEO and all the other things you could maybe, the branding, for God's sake, don't buy yourself a $5,000 branding package. The company that I don't think we should name, but that we don't like that Michelle runs, she spent zero on that branding. She's making a couple $1 million a year. So it's just, I think priorities, testing, and then keeping cash handy while you build, and then leveraging that for visibility and marketing is going to be a much better way to play it this year for 2025.
Agreed. And also let people know that it's not only possible to do what to make money doing whatever you want to do after being fired or laid off. It's people need to hear your voice
Yeah.
because obviously you have experience. You know, there's someone out there that needs your voice, and not just someone. There's thousands of someones that want to buy from you or hire you or whatever, and that's just the way the world works. And being in a corporate environment may have stifled you for all those years, and now you can say, you know what? I was stifled. I have no other choice now but to do this.
Yeah, I love that point because I had a coach early on when and I think I've said this before, but I was super, super shy. And it's actually selfish of you to hold back the amount of information you have that can help businesses scale so quickly. It's selfish that you know that and you're not talking about it online or at events or wherever. You're holding back other people's success by not sharing what you know. And so I'm going to say that to anybody who has been laid off, who is possibly going to be laid off, they're downsizing their company, that it is selfish of you to sit at home and go, gosh, I hope something works out, when there are people who desperately need your expertise now and they're searching it, looking for it. Maybe you were in marketing, maybe you were in the C suite, maybe you were in HR, but you've got information that people are now looking for and they need help with in a
Hmm.
different way. They're looking for you. There's opportunities for you. And think about companies who have scaled down, even if, especially if it's a smaller, a medium to small size company, maybe they're outsourcing their HR. So they're having to sort out how to deal with shit internally on their own for a lot of it. There's
Hmm.
stress, there's problems if there's disagreements. So they're looking for people who could maybe run a seminar, who could maybe, they can't afford a whole HR department anymore, but they can afford a once a quarter kind of team building or how to work together, how to solve some of these issues. They're looking for that person with an HR background. So
Yeah.
it's selfish not to do it.
Let's stay on the HR component side of it. Something I thought about a while ago. If you're fired from HR, which seems like a lot of people are being fired from HR, because if no one's
Mhm.
hiring anyone, why do you need HR? So everyone's trying to fire someone from HR. The fact is that every business that we're talking about that will launch, they need HR. And maybe they don't need HR in terms of hiring more employees, but they need HR into how to run themselves.
Yeah,
What do I need to put in place to be able to start my company, maybe hire freelancers? How does that even work?
yeah.
And so you can be fired from HR on Monday, and then on Wednesday you can go out and say, if you're launching a new business, you need HR help, I can help you for an hourly rate. You can immediately start making money on Wednesday. Just go right there on TikTok. Say, listen, I've been an HR expert for 20 years. I can help you launch your business. Or if you're a service business, you're doing everything wrong. I can help you do it.
Yeah. Your
And-
team's not being productive, people struggling, not coming in, you've got people leaving, you've the entire tone of the company is down. Let's get together and fix it.
exactly. That's just how easy it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that same way. You were on TikTok spewing your stuff,
Yes.
and I'm like, I'm like,
You're
she
my-
sounds very knowledgeable, and I listened. I need this right now. I need this in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people, when they find me, they're always like, you're the first person that talked about social media that didn't seem like a fad or a trend. It seemed like something for business. Like, yes.
Exactly. And
Other
it's
people
fact
have
you
been
need
doing it
it.
for a year or two.
Yeah. And you need social media in your business, and it's the easiest way possible to make your first dollar.
Yeah, it is.
Other
And
than,
not only easy, but I actually think it's becoming required because so many consumers now will check a company's social media first. They want to
Mhm.
see social proof that you have a following. They want to see videos of what you guys are about. They want to see what your content's about. They want to see that you're real. It's like a website. You have to have a presence. And to that end, because I do think it's becoming more required, that's why I say pick one or two platforms,
Mhm.
build those up instead of having 20 followers on 10 platforms. Try to
Correct.
get a couple hundred on two platforms.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And also, just do it. At the end of the day, just do it. You're unemployed. You can go on Indeed or LinkedIn and apply for jobs every day, but spend the exact same amount of time doing that, doing something for yourself.
Yeah, and I actually, okay, let's talk about that for a second. There's a couple things. One is if you're applying for jobs, maybe start your business off of LinkedIn because recruiters will check your LinkedIn. And if you're starting something else, sometimes they'll be worried about hiring you.
Makes sense?
Just it depends on your industry. But that doesn't mean you can't have a TikTok. That doesn't mean you can't be on in Facebook groups. That doesn't mean you can't be on Alignable. There's a lot of other places you can still be, right? And then I think the other thing with it, when you are building your, what was I going to say? When you're building your business online, oh, start showing up with, there's levels of social media strategy. Start with the content that is those like top 10 things somebody asks you. Like when they
Hmm.
find out, like, you're at your spouse's work party and they're like, oh, you do that. That's interesting. What about these three things? And there's always, for me with social media, there's always five questions people ask me. TikTok
Hmm.
ban is always the first one for like a whole hot ass year. Yes, the band is still a thing. Yes, it's still going to be moved out. There's five questions people always ask me when they find out. Make three or four versions of videos or posts about those top like 5 to 10 questions you get. Just allows you to start your page. And then from there, you can start getting more in depth with your content. But it gets you launched really quickly on something that connects to what you do and shows your expertise.
Agreed, agreed, agreed. Okay, good. This has been a good session today, I thought. Good podcast.
Yeah, thanks for hanging.
So let's just think. So we'll see you guys next week, and with a great topic as always. And looking forward to seeing you guys online.
See you later.